Welcome to the podcast this week, heroes. I am coming off of the biggest, most wonderful high from last week. I got to work with one of my dream clients. And many of you who have been doing what you do for a long time, we all have those people that we hope we get a chance one day to work with. And that happened to me this last week. I was able to go in and work with my friends that had invited me to come in over at Meta. And we just had the best time. I came in to help them. They, like a lot of different companies right now, have different teams that are merging and moving to other areas and doing different things, just like a lot of people in tech right now. And they had one particular team that was from all over the world, and they were going to be bringing all of their superpowers together from these different teams and forming this new, amazing team that was going to help people worldwide. And they brought us in to work with them to talk about inventing their new story of how they're going to connect with people, of how they're going to help people and serve people, and help them as a team to define that, and then help them individually to define how they can bring their authentic stories and mine those wonderful superpowers that they have to connect those up to the larger story as well. And we had the best time. It was so much fun. And I think one of the reasons I loved it so much was I had a watershed moment during it where I was there with another team member as well. His name is Aaron as well. And he was doing this fantastic job of leading some theater improv games that we wanted to bring to help get people in a vulnerable space. One of the things that we like to do is bring people back to that almost childlike brain place of being able to play and tell stories. Because when we can help people get to that place where they can connect with that kid that is able to play make-believe, like we did when we were all little, when you can tap into that creativity again and be comfortable starting to tell stories and make connections and say yes and, which is a huge improv tenet in theater, is adding to someone's story, like receiving what they're giving you, saying yes and adding your own spin to it, and then making something better than was just these two individual parts. And now it's evolved into something better, which of course connects with a lot of the stuff that I talk about in telling stories and evolving your own hero story, taking what you already have and those adventures you've been on, and then how do you add to them and how do you move forward and grow into a larger version of yourself. And this, while I was watching this other Aaron, it was perfect for the class because no matter what they said, if they said Aaron, someone would respond. While he was doing his thing, and while I saw the people being able to be vulnerable, using laughter with each other, being able to break down kind of those professional force fields we all put up in order to be impressive and not get too close to other people. As those started to come down and people started to be vulnerable and laugh and have fun together and work together, all of a sudden I realized this is the kind of event that I always wanted to create, but I thought that only other people could do. And I wanted to share that with you this week because now I've done it hundreds of times now. So this was nothing new for me as far as an in-person event. I've gone all over the world to be able to teach events like this, but it was a wonderful thing to be able to just feel the waves of gratitude that I was able to be doing it here with this group at Meta and their amazing facilities that they had with this fantastic group of people from all over the world. I love it when there are different accents and different people from all over the world, all working together and finding common ground to tell a new story. And as we were handing out, our storied coaching journals that they write in and giving them the prompts and going through the exercises that they write and doing all of these different things, it really made me realize and be grateful for the fact that I used to go to events like that and want to someday be able to do the same thing for other people and serve at that level. And then just to realize that, oh my gosh, it's here. I've done this so many times, but this particular one just felt kind of amazing that, wow, myself and the rest of my team, we've been able to use our superpowers together to be able to create something that wasn't there before, that used to just be in my brain and I thought would be so cool to do, but I wasn't sure if it was possible. And so I wanted to go ahead and offer to you this week as well that a lot of you have that thing in your brain too. You have that business idea. You have that idea for if you're leading a team in a corporate environment as well, or if you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, or you want to be one, if you want to grow into a bigger story, but you're wondering if that thing's going to fly. You know what? You're never going to know unless you try it. And unless you let it evolve and let people say yes and to you and help enhance your story and move forward with what you want to do. It was such a fantastic time to be able to work with them, to know that we've dialed the events in, that they're able to get this level of performance that we were able to give them, and to see the light bulb moments going off. And I wish that for all of you as well. But I want you to know that this didn't just happen and that all of a sudden it was just super easy. That I just decided to make an event like this, to, print out the branded journals, to, wear the hats, to do all the different things, and that it just happened and that I always thought it was going to be successful. A lot of times we can think that we're the only ones that have that self-doubt, that other people have it figured out and know how to go about it in a much better way. And nothing could be further from the truth. The people that create things that fly, that eventually connect with people and are successful, they deal and move through micro failures, imposter syndrome, perfectionism brain, and they have to overcome it. In fact, I just want you to get into the mindset of, if you're going to be making something that you want to bring into reality that's just in your head right now, it's much easier just to plan for the fact that those things are going to pop up. That way, when they happen, it's not out of nowhere. It's, oh, hey, welcome, imposter syndrome. I knew, my friend, that you were going to show up at some point during this process. At some point, I was going to feel like my vision for what I want to create feels bigger than my stretch of my hands right now, and that I have to grow a bit in order to reach it. And that's okay. Welcome. I'm going to feel those feelings, but I'm not going to let them stop me from getting shit done. I'm going to move forward anyway. I'm going to keep moving forward. And on the other hand as well, perfectionism brain. So when you're creating something new, when you're creating something from scratch, or you're evolving something that you've already created, or you're getting in front of that new client, or you want to pick up the phone and make a phone call or an offer to someone you haven't done before and you're nervous about it, just know that perfectionism brain, for all of you high performers, is going to pop up. If you're writing copy for your new website, for your new sales page, and you're not sure if it's right or not, don't sit on it. Do your V1, launch it. Get that minimum viable product out there and refine it as you go. Don't let your perfectionism brain, stop you from getting momentum and making something real in the real world and moving forward. You can always change it. You can always do V2, V3, V4, V5 and get it to where it needs to be. Don't let embarrassment for your first shot at copy, your first images you put up on your website, that first explainer video that you do, it's okay. There are going to be other versions. There are going to be other applications, other things that you're going to do in order to evolve that over time. But just start. That way you can start to walk in and live into the things that you want to do as well, and grow and stretch into that bigger version of yourself, that new hero story that you want to evolve into and move towards. Move forward anyway, even when you have those hesitancies, when you have imposter syndrome popping up, when you have perfectionism brain popping up. In fact, it should feel slightly terrifying. If you feel a bit sweaty and terrified that what if this fails, you are probably moving in the right direction, my friends. That is where the good stuff is. I can absolutely tell you that even though I've done hundreds of these at this point, I've done all kinds of different versions of workshops and things like that, in person, virtually, all the different flavors. But I can absolutely tell you that I turned to my wife at one point early last week before I was out with Meta on Wednesday. Earlier in the week, I absolutely turned to her and said, I'm a little scared right now. And my wife thinks it's hilarious because she's like, you've done how many of these at this point? But it still pops up. I'm still human. I still wonder sometimes whether I'm good enough to be able to deliver. I still wonder sometimes whether what I've prepared is going to connect with my audience, if it's really going to help them, or if it's just going to sound like something they've heard a million times before. I do this to myself as well. And so for any of you that might be thinking, well, there's already something out there kind of like what I want to do, it doesn't matter. We haven't seen your version yet. Your version will be different because you are different. Allow yourself to put your own spin on it, to do it the way that you want to do it, to bring your energy to it. It will be different. It can't help but be different than other people's version. You can absolutely do this. And if you are feeling slightly terrified, my friends, welcome. Come on in. The water is warm, or maybe it's bracingly cold, one of the two. But you're not doing anything wrong. Good job, human. You're moving in the right direction to grow. Because growing, we always want it to be comfortable. It's not. Growing is terrifying sometimes. It's uncomfortable. You want to hide. It feels like sandpaper against your skin sometimes. Sometimes it's wonderful and exhilarating. On the other side of it, once you've already done the thing, I can tell you as soon as I was done and walked out of that Meta event, felt like $1 million. It was amazing. But I don't get to feel that unless I deal with my brain. I deal with the imposter syndrome. When it pops up, I deal with the perfectionism. When it pops up and I second guess and third guess my content, and if it's the right way or in the right order, am I choosing the right theater games to help them be able to introduce vulnerability and humor? Did I pick the right facilitator on my team in order to make that happen? All of those things are part of what's being a CEO and being a boss and running your own thing. It's part of it. So if you're feeling any of those things or you run into any of those things, you are doing it right. Good job. In fact, it's starting to get to be that time of year where many of you, like myself, are going to start thinking about, all right, here's what I've gotten done this year. What's the version of myself that I want to come up and start doing and working on for next year? What are the goals that I want to hit? What are the results that I want? What hero do I want to become? What's the next journey for myself? And we've got something that's going to be coming up. I can't talk about it yet, but I'm going to let you know about it soon. It's going to be coming up for an exclusive small group of people to work directly with me to be able to work through and plan for your story in the version you want to grow into yourself over this next year. Like I said, it's going to be fairly small group. It's going to be a lot of attention and one-on-one time from me. And so it needs to be a certain group of people that I know that are motivated and like to get shit done. And I'm excited to tell you about it. Just want to fine-tune a couple of things before I tell you about it. My friends, if you've got something in your brain that you want to bring into the world, please don't let any of those things in your brain, like imposter syndrome, like perfectionism brain, keep you from doing it. You can't avoid those things. The self-doubt, the wondering if you can do it, if you're the right person, the who am I to do this? Is this the right decision? Is this the right content to make? Can I pick up the phone and ask that person if I can help them? These are all things that every single successful entrepreneur and business leader and high performer has thought at some point or another. And even when you're at my level and levels that are way larger than me, that is a human part of life that's going to keep happening. So plan for it, but do it anyway, because amazing things are on the horizon for you on the other side of that fear. Push through it. I know that you can do it. All right, my friends, have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you soon.